Welcome, dear listener. You have arrived at a place where nothing is demanded of you. This is Moonlight Stories, a space for ancient gods, forgotten myths, and gentle journeys told slowly, so the mind may soften and the body may rest. If these stories bring you calm, if they feel like a quiet hand resting on your shoulder in the dark, you are warmly invited to subscribe, to leave a like, and to share in the comments which god, creature, or ancient world you would like to explore in a future night. There is no rush. You may listen with open eyes, or you may let them close. Tonight, we walk beside a God who does not judge, does not hurry, and does not raise his voice. Tonight, we meet ANUBIS, keeper of thresholds, guardian of passage, the one who walks with souls. When all noise has ended, let your breathing slow. Let the night open. Chapter 1. Before the scales. Before there were names for fear. Before prayers learned how to tremble in the dark, there was the desert at night, an endless sea of sand cooling beneath the stars. No footsteps disturbed its surface. No voices dared to echo here. The desert did not sleep. It listened. And within that listening silence walked ANUBIS. He did not arrive. He did not emerge. He had always been. His form was shaped by stillness itself, a body dark as fertile soil after rain, a jackal's head lifted gently toward the sky, ears tuned not to danger, but to imbalance. ANUBIS was born not to command the living, nor to rule the dead. He existed for the space between, where other gods filled the world with thunder and decree. ANUBIS moved quietly, leaving no mark that could not be erased by wind. He knew the moment when a breath loosened its hold. He felt the subtle shift when a soul no longer fully belonged to the body it had worn. And in that moment, he stood near, not looming, not reaching, simply present. Death to ANUBIS was not an ending. It was a door that opened inward, and every door, he knew, required a guardian who would not rush those who crossed. Chapter 2. The First Crossing. Every soul arrives differently. Some come burdened, carrying memories like stones pressed against the chest. Others drift forward in confusion, surprised to find themselves still aware, still feeling. There are souls who resist, clinging to names, faces, unfinished words. And there are souls who step forward willingly, as if they had been preparing longer than they knew. Anubis meets them all the same way. He does not announce himself. He does not demand attention. He walks beside the soul, his pace slow enough to match any hesitation. The crossing itself is unlike any place imagined by the living. There is no ground beneath the feet, yet one never falls. There is no sky overhead, yet darkness does not feel empty. Time behaves differently here. Moments stretch, then soften, then dissolve. The only constant is the steady rhythm of movement. Anubis does not speak aloud, yet his presence carries meaning. You are not late. You are not wrong. You are not alone. Many souls arrive, expecting judgment. They have been taught to fear what comes next. They brace themselves for pain, for punishment, for fire. But Anubis does not trade in fear. He understands that fear belongs to the living, those who do not yet know that silence can be gentle. Ahead lies the hall of weighing, where the heart will meet the feather of Ma'at. But even this is not a test as mortals imagine it. It is not about worth. It is about balance. Chapter 3. The Hands That Know. Before the scales are revealed, before the heart is asked to rest upon them, there is a pause. This pause is sacred. Anubis kneels beside the soul with the same care he once used to prepare bodies for burial. His hands are ancient. They remember every ritual, every wrapping of linen, every whispered farewell left unsaid. These hands have touched mortality so often that they no longer fear it. Now, they tend to something less visible. Anubis senses where the soul tightens, where memory clings too sharply, where regret pulls the spirit off balance. He does not remove these things. nothing true is taken away. Instead, he steadies. He allows the soul to rest long enough to remember itself without panic. This is the part no wall painting fully shows. The compassion hidden inside ritual, the patience within divine duty. Anubis knows that no heart is without weight. Even the kindest lives carry sorrow. Even the cruel ones once knew fear. The scales are not traps. They do not seek perfection. They seek honesty. And when the moment arrives, when the heart is lifted gently into place, Anubis does not turn away. He remains still, present, unmoving, because true passage requires a witness who does not flinch from truth. Chapter 4. The hall that holds no echo. The hall of weighing does not announce itself. There are no doors to open, no threshold to cross with a step. It simply is. A vast space held in quiet symmetry, neither enclosed nor endless, as if the concept of a hall were remembered rather than built. The air here does not move. Sound does not linger. Every thought arrives, softened, as though wrapped in linen. At the center stand the scales. They are older than kingdoms, older than the names given to stars. Their surface bears no ornament, no warning, no promise. Anubis approaches them without ceremony. This place does not require reverence, only presence. The soul stands beside him, aware now of its own weight, not as burden, but as truth. Nothing is hidden here, yet nothing is exposed violently. This is not a courtroom. This is not a punishment chamber. It is a place of still accounting, where nothing needs to be defended. Anubis gestures gently, and the soul understands. The heart is not torn away. It is offered. Chapter 5. Ma'at and the Feather. Ma'at arrives without sound. She is not tall or imposing. She does not glow. She simply brings with her the feeling of alignment, like a breath taken at the right moment. Her feather is small, unassuming, light enough to be mistaken for fragile, and yet it carries the weight of order, truth, and balance, not moral purity, not virtue, balance. The heart rests upon the scale opposite the feather. ANUBIS watches closely, not to interfere, but to witness honestly. The heart trembles, not because it fears the feather, but because it remembers. Moments rise and fall within it. Kindness given without reward. Harm done from fear rather than malice. Silences where words should have been spoken. Love withheld. Love offered too late. The feather does not accuse. It listens. The scale moves slowly, never abruptly. This is not a test of perfection. It is a measure of congruence, whether the heart lived close to its own truth or far from it. ANUBIS remains motionless, his gaze steady, unblinking. Whatever the outcome, he does not abandon the soul. Chapter 6. A myth who waits. Amit is already there. She has always been. Not lurking. Not pacing. Not eager. She waits the way the desert waits. Patient. Inevitable. Without cruelty. Her form is composite. Part crocodile, part lion, part hippo, predator, strength and depth. But she is not chaos. She is consequence. Amit does not leap forward at imbalance. She does not hunger for punishment. She exists to resolve what cannot be carried further. ANUBIS acknowledges her presence with a slight inclination of the head. There is no rivalry here, no judgment exchanged. If the heart sinks beyond alignment, if it cannot rest in truth even now, Amit does not destroy it in rage. She returns it to silence, not fire, not torment, stillness. And even then, ANUBIS does not turn away, for he understands that some journeys end here, not as failure, but as rest. Not every soul is meant to continue in the same form. And that, too, is balance. Chapter 7. Beyond the scales. When the scales come to rest, there is no announcement, No verdict spoken aloud, no sound to mark the moment, only a subtle shift, like the air after a long-held breath is released. If the heart has found its balance, if it has not turned away from its own truth, the space ahead begins to open. Anubis steps forward first, not to lead, but to reassure. The path beyond the hall of weighing is gentle. It does not pull the soul forward, nor does it demand movement. It waits. This is where fear loosens its grip, where urgency fades, where the need to explain oneself dissolves. Anubis walks beside the soul, as the surroundings soften into something familiar, yet impossible to fully describe. Water appears not as flood, but as reflection. Fields stretch outward, green and calm, untouched by decay. This is the field of reeds, not a reward, but a continuation. Here, existence flows without resistance. No hunger presses, no time chases. Anubis does not enter this place. He never does. His duty ends at the threshold of peace, but he remains long enough to ensure the soul knows it can walk on its own. Chapter 8. The God Who Remains. When the soul moves forward, Anubis stops. He watches until the figure blends into the quiet horizon, until individuality softens into harmony. Only then does he turn back. There are always more crossings, always more thresholds. Anubis does not tire. He returns to the desert, to the night, to the space between breaths. He will be present at the next ending and the next beginning. He does not keep score. He does not carry regret. His role is not to decide fate, but to make passage possible. In the world of the living, Anubis is often misunderstood, feared, but those who walk beside him know a different truth, that he is not the god of death. He is the God who stays when everything else falls away. He is the keeper of thresholds, the witness of honesty, the quiet companion in the dark. And he will remain long after stories forget his name, long after the last wall painting fades. Because As long as there are endings, there must be someone who does not abandon them. Closing, returning to the night. And now, dear listener, the path turns gently back toward rest. You do not need to remember every word. You do not need to hold onto the images. Let them fade the way dreams fade, softly, without effort. If this story brought you calm, if walking beside ANUBIS felt grounding or reassuring, you are warmly invited to like this story, to subscribe, and to leave a comment sharing which god, creature, or ancient myth you would like to walk with on another night. There is no rush. You may carry this silence with you into sleep, or you may let it stay here, waiting for the next time you return. For this place will remain, and so will the stories. Good night. Rest gently. You are safe to let go.